Hello, it's day 44, and I want to talk about the diet in the mind. Diets are 90% mental. If all I had to do was worry about the physical effects of eating or exercising, I don't think I would have much of a problem with diets at all. The problem comes when my mental energy is exhausted. I've mentioned before that I feel like there are two parts to me. There's the glutton, and there's the reasonable person. But I'm not the only person who feels this way. It sounds strange, but if you follow any diet related media, this concept of two separate halves of the person comes up fairly often. For instance, there's a famous comic by a artist called The Oatmeal. The comic is about running marathons and running in general. And he personifies his laziness and desire to overeat as a character called the Blurch, just like a fat little fairy that follows him around. There's another small artist on Twitter called Tinzak. I really enjoyed her comics, and she's one of the influences behind these videos I'm doing. She personifies her desire to overeat as an inner glutton, a little angel that sits on her shoulder or just hovers around her. The concept of this particular inner demon being personified is very common if you follow any kind of diet or fitness guru. And it's easy to see why. If you spend any amount of time thinking about your diet, you're going to feel this split in yourself, this divide, so to speak. And your inner glutton is very, very persistent. And it's part of the reason why so many people fail their diets. The reasonable side of you has to be reasonable 24/7 because all it takes is one moment of weakness to give in to that inner glutton. And the inner glutton is persistent. Today, I've been working on my small goal of the week of not touching the candy shelf. And I've noticed just how insane my inner glutton has been trying to justify going for it. That inner glutton has so helpfully pointed out to me that I have a lot of extra calories today because it's Monday Run Day. Maybe I should go to the candy shelf. It's pointed out that nobody would really know. I could just lie to you guys and tell you that I'm doing great on my goal. It's told me that my lunch wasn't enough today. I'm going to have to overeat after dinner anyway. But no matter how your inner glutton manifests itself, whether it's as laziness or as overeating, the message is always the same. Do it because it won't matter in the moment. Do it because nobody cares but you. Do it because you're going to eventually anyway. And that persistent needling, that endless back and forth with this part of yourself that sounds reasonable in the moment, that's what causes diets to fail. It's the endless badgering. And that inner glutton really made me realize why so many diet and fitness gurus gravitate toward meditation. Because if you're trying to still your mind, you're also trying to still that part of your mind that's constantly spinning in circles trying to get you to overeat. I've heard some people characterize it as a toddler, that it's a toddler part of their brain that wants to overeat, and that it's the adult part of their brain, the responsible one, that has to tell it no. When you're trying to build mental resilience, how do you put your foot down in a final way? How do you tell yourself, no, we're not doing this today, and make yourself believe it? Arguing with that blurch, with that inner glutton, is really exhausting. And when you're using all of your mental energy to try to bolster your willpower, you're missing out on so many other parts of your day. Which is why I think when it comes to the mental diet, the less you think about what you eat, the better off you are. But again, when you're trying to practice mindfulness and you're trying to be really smart about how you're spending your calorie budget for the day, sometimes you have to overthink how you're eating. And sometimes you do have to give in to that toddler mentality that, maybe your snack today is going to be a Snickers. Not for me, though. I'm not touching that candy shelf. I won't do it. It's like a demon sitting in the corner watching me. It's right over there. I'm all alone right now. I could be shoveling that stuff into my face right now, but I'm not going to do it because that is the only goal I have for this week. I wish there was a way to compartmentalize the pieces of myself, to just tuck in my inner glutton and say, good night, take a nap. We're going to take a break for a minute. I need some space. But it really is constant. It really is a constant mental war. The scary part is, I don't think it ever gets any easier. I don't know that for sure, but at least from personal experience, I've never gotten to a point where I can just tell my inner glutton no and not have to worry about it badgering me all day. If you have any advice for this, I would love to hear it. Or tell me how you personify your inner glutton. I feel like mine is a crow sitting on my shoulder, just squawking at me constantly.